This story is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to real people or events is purely coincidental. The borrowed dress was too tight at the ribs, and somewhere near her left shoulder blade, the price tag was still tucked inside, scratching with every breath. Maya Chen had been at the National Gallery Charity Gala for 47 minutes, and she'd already decided her strategy for survival. Stay near the food, avoid eye contact with anyone wearing more than 3 pieces of jewelry, and leave the moment her friend Jess finished networking. She'd saved one good canapé, some kind of salmon thing with cream cheese, and was about to eat it when a man appeared beside her. Tall, in a suit that probably cost more than her last 3 months of rent, with the kind of face that looked good in business magazines. He leaned in close enough that she could smell expensive cologne, and whispered, "I need you to pretend to be my wife." Maya stopped mid-bite, chewed, swallowed deliberately, then turned to look at him properly. "I'll need that in writing," she said. His eyes widened slightly, surprise maybe, or confusion. "I'm serious." "So am I." She set down her plate. "Separate bedrooms. You handle your own coffee, and I can quit any time." For a moment, he just stared at her. Then, incredibly, he nodded. Acceptable. Across the room, a woman in emerald silk had stopped mid-conversation, watching them with a smile that looked like it had been painted on with a knife. Maya glanced at the woman, then back at the billionaire. "Your ex?" "Worse. Someone who thinks she should be." "Ah." Maya picked up her canapé again. "And you thought asking a random stranger to fake marry you was the best solution? You're not random. You're—" He paused, searching for words. "Practical." "That's the weirdest compliment I've ever gotten." She took a bite of the canapé. "But fine, I'm in." His assistant appeared out of nowhere, a woman in her 40s with the expression of someone who'd stopped being surprised by anything years ago. She was carrying, impossibly, an actual contract. "You planned this?" Maya asked. "I planned for options," the billionaire said. "I'm Aaron Wei." Maya Chen." She accepted the papers. "Do you have a pen?" The assistant handed her one. Maya read the contract standing there, aware that people were starting to notice. The emerald silk woman was definitely watching now, her smile frozen in place. "This says indefinite duration," Maya said, crossing it out. She wrote in 90 days. "That's," Aaron started. "Non-negotiable." She kept reading. "And this part about all expenses paid needs to say itemized receipts. I'm not your charity case. And I wasn't suggesting—" "You were implying." She made the correction, then signed at the bottom. "There. Legal and everything." Aaron took the pen back, signed his name. They shook hands. Hers still had canapé crumbs on it. He pulled out a pocket square and wiped his palm. "We're off to a great start," Maya said. "Indeed," he replied, deadpan. The assistant looked between them. "Sir, are we doing this?" "Apparently." Aaron turned back to Maya. "We should—" But the emerald silk woman was already approaching, 3 photographers trailing behind her like ducklings. "Aaron!" Her voice carried across the gallery. "There you are. I've been looking everywhere." Aaron's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. Then he did something Maya didn't expect. He took her hand, gentle but firm, and pulled her slightly closer. "Veronica," he said smoothly, "I'd like you to meet my wife." The gallery went quiet. Veronica's smile didn't falter, but something cold flickered behind her eyes. "Your wife?" "Yes." Aaron's voice was perfectly calm, like he was discussing quarterly earnings. "Maya, we've kept things private." Maya, deciding she was already committed to this insanity, gave Veronica a small wave. "Hi." Veronica's smile turned sharp. "How romantic. I had no idea you were even seeing anyone." We prefer discretion," Maya said, borrowing Aaron's boardroom tone. Then, because she couldn't help herself. "Unlike some people." One of the photographers snorted and tried to cover it with a cough. Veronica's eyes narrowed. "Well, how lovely." She turned to Aaron. "We should catch up properly sometime. I have so many questions." "I'm sure you do," Aaron said mildly. Veronica left, photographers in tow, already pulling out her phone. Maya waited until she was out of earshot. "She's going to make our lives hell, isn't she?" "Most likely." "Great." Maya picked up her plate again. "Just checking." The car ride to his place was quiet. Maya stared out the window at Washington, D.C. sliding past, Georgetown's old buildings giving way to the Potomac, the city lights reflecting on dark water. She'd grown up here, technically. But in Columbia Heights, where rent was measured in roommates and broken heaters, this part of the city might as well have been a different country. "Where were you planning to go tonight?" Aaron asked. "After the gala." "My friend's couch." He glanced at her. "You don't have an apartment?" "Not anymore. Got evicted 3 weeks ago." She said, it matter-of-factly, because what was the point of pretending? Rent went up 40%. Couldn't cover it. I see. Do you? Maya turned to look at him properly. Because I don't think you do. But that's fine. We're not doing this for understanding. We're doing it because I need a place to stay, and you need someone to ward off your stalker ex not ex. She's not my ex. She thinks she is, which is functionally the same thing. Aaron was quiet for a moment. Then, you're very direct. I don't have energy for anything else. Maya leaned her head against the window. Also, for the record, I lost my job 5 weeks ago, and my fiance 3 weeks ago. So if Veronica digs into my background, she's going to find a lot of ammunition. I should have asked about that before asking me to fake marry you at a gala. Yeah, probably. But Maya closed her eyes. But here we are. The car pulled up to a building that looked like it cost more than her entire extended family's net worth combined. The doorman greeted Aaron by name. The elevator had mirrors and mahogany. I have 12 throw pillows, Aaron said suddenly. Maya opened her eyes. What? You said I'd have 47. I have 12. Despite everything. The insanity of the evening, the borrowed dress, the fact that she'd just signed a contract to fake marry a billionaire, Maya laughed. You're keeping count? I like accuracy. That's very you. She followed him out of the elevator, into a penthouse that looked like a hotel suite. Beautiful, pristine, and completely unlived in. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed the city spread out below. Everything was gray and white and perfect. Guest room is this way, Aaron said. The guest room was bigger than her old apartment. Maya stood in the doorway, still in her borrowed dress with the price tag scratching her shoulder, and felt the absurdity of the night settle over her like a blanket. I'll have clothes delivered tomorrow, Aaron said. And anything else you need. Thanks. Maya's voice came out smaller than she'd intended. He nodded and turned to leave, then paused. Maya? Yeah? Why did you say yes at the gala? Maya thought about the last 5 weeks, the job loss, the eviction notice, her fiancé's text message ending their engagement because she was too much of a mess right now. She thought about sleeping on Jess's couch and sending out resumes to Void. She thought about the canapé she'd been saving because she didn't know when she'd eat again. You asked if I had anything to lose, she said finally. The answer was no. Aaron looked at her for a long moment. Then he said quietly, I'm sorry. For what? That the answer was no. He left before she could respond. Maya sat on the edge of the enormous bed, still in her borrowed dress, and started laughing. Quiet, slightly hysterical laughter that turned into something harder to define. What did I just do? She whispered to the empty room. The city lights glittered below, offering no answers. 4 weeks earlier, the printer jammed for the 3rd time that morning, and Maya considered violence. Not against a person, just maybe against the printer. It seemed fair. You okay? Liam asked from the next desk. Fine, just contemplating printer murder. Let me know if you need an alibi. She got the paper unjammed, sent her presentation to print again, and checked her email. 3 new messages, 2 about the Johnson campaign, 1 with the subject line that made her heart skip. Please see me at 4 p.m. No context, no signature, just her boss's name in the sender line. Maya knew what it meant. Everyone always knew what it meant when a manager sent that particular email at that particular time on a Tuesday. She went back to work, fixed the typos in the Johnson presentation, ate her homemade lunch at her desk, leftover pasta, because groceries were expensive and eating out was a luxury, joked with Liam about the client who wanted more pizzazz in their social media strategy, whatever that meant. At 3:58, she went to the bathroom, looked at herself in the mirror, 32 years old, good at her job, about to lose it anyway. She gripped the edge of the sink, took 3 deep breaths, and went back out. Her boss's office was on the 4th floor. Maya took the stairs. It's not personal, Richard said, which was what people always said when it was definitely personal. We're restructuring, budget cuts, you understand? Maya nodded. She did understand. The company had hired 3 executives in the past year, all making 6 figures. Someone had to pay for that. 2 weeks severance, Richard continued. HR will have the paperwork. Should I finish the Johnson project? Maya asked, because she'd been raised to be professional, even when being fired. That won't be necessary. Right. Of course. Because someone else, probably Liam, who had tenure, would finish her work and take credit for it. That was how this worked. Can I take my mug? She hadn't meant to say it. It just came out. Richard blinked. Your mug? The one on my desk. It says World's Okayest Employee. Maya stood up. Just want to make sure that's allowed? Of course. Yes. Take whatever personal items. She left before he could finish. Took the elevator down this time, because she didn't trust her legs on the stairs. Her desk looked the same as it had an hour ago, but everything felt different. Liam watched her pack her things into a cardboard box someone had thoughtfully left nearby. Maya, don't, she said quietly. Please. He nodded, didn't offer empty platitudes. She appreciated that. The elevator ride down was long. The lobby was full of people coming back from lunch, bright and chatty and employed. Maya carried her box past them, 3 years of work reduced to office supplies and that stupid mug, and stepped out into October sunshine that felt too cheerful. She stood there for a moment, box in her arms, and laughed once, sharp, hollow. Then she called Jess. I'm ordering Thai food, Jess said when Maya showed up at her Columbia Heights apartment 3 hours later. The expensive kind with the good curry. I just lost my job. I can't. I'm ordering Thai food, Jess repeated, steering Maya to the couch. And you're going to eat it and watch trash TV with me, and we're not going to talk about it unless you want to. Maya wanted to argue. Instead, she sank into the couch and watched Jess pull up the menu on her phone. The apartment was small, 1 bedroom. Jess's photography equipment taking up half the living room, but it was warm and lived in and safe. You know I got fired, not diagnosed, right? Maya said. Same energy, Jess replied without looking up from her phone. Needs comfort food either way. They ate on the couch. Watched a reality show about people trying to flip houses with no construction experience. Didn't talk about the job or what came next. At some point, Maya fell asleep with her head on a throw pillow that smelled like Jess's lavender detergent. When she woke up, it was dark outside, and Jess had covered her with a blanket. There was a note on the coffee table. Stayed late at work, leftover curry in fridge. You're crashing here tonight, obviously. Jay. Maya picked up the note, read it twice, and felt something crack open in her chest. She put her face in her hands and didn't cry. She'd gotten too tired for crying, but sat there for a long time, in the dark, listening to the city sounds outside. The eviction notice came on a Thursday, slipped under her apartment door like a dinner menu. Notice to vacate 30 days. Rent was increasing 40%. The building had been sold. New ownership, new rates. Your lease terms have changed, blah, blah, blah. Maya read it twice, did the math, and realized that even if she found a new job tomorrow, she couldn't cover the new rent and a job search at the same time, not with 2 weeks of severance that was already earmarked for groceries in her phone bill. She texted Daniel, "Can we talk tonight?" He responded 3 hours later, "Actually, I need to talk to you too," which was never a good sign. They met at a coffee shop on U Street, neutral territory, because Maya had known, somewhere in her gut, that this wasn't going to be a we'll figure it out together kind of conversation. Daniel was already there when she arrived, sitting at a corner table with his hands wrapped around a cup he hadn't touched. He looked uncomfortable. Good. He should be uncomfortable. "Hey," he said when she sat down. "Hey." Silence. Maya waited. "This isn't working," Daniel said finally. "You're struggling, and I need stability. I lost my job 3 weeks ago." "Exactly. And now the apartment thing. I can't." He stopped, seemed to recalibrate. "I'm not equipped to handle this kind of instability." Maya stared at him. They'd been engaged for 8 months. Together for 2 years before that. She'd met his parents, he'd met hers. "You're leaving because I'm poor," she said flatly. "That's not fair." "But it's accurate." Daniel flinched. "I'm trying to be honest here." "You're being cowardly," Maya said. "But sure, let's call it honesty." He pulled out his wallet, left a $10 bill on the table. "For your coffee." She stared at the money, at him. Then she stood up, leaving the cash where it was, and walked out. Outside, the October air was sharp and clean. She walked for blocks, not really seeing where she was going, until she found herself at Rock Creek Park. Sat on a bench, watched joggers and dogs and people with their lives together. Her phone buzzed. "Jess." "You okay?" Maya typed back. "Define okay?" "Jess, I'm coming over?" Maya. "Yeah." She sat there a little. Longer, watching the sunset through the trees, and thought about how fast everything could fall apart. 5 weeks ago, she'd had a job, an apartment, and a fiancé. Now she had a cardboard box of office supplies and Jess's couch. "This is fine," she said out loud. "This is totally fine." A jogger passing by gave her a concerned look. Maya stood up and started walking toward Columbia Heights. Moving out took 4 hours and 3 trips in Jess's car. Everything Maya owned fit into 1 suitcase, 2 boxes, and a garbage bag of winter clothes. "That's it?" Jess asked, loading the last box. "That's it." "Okay." And Jess didn't offer platitudes or false encouragement, just, my couch is comfortable. Stay as long as you need." Maya looked at her life in 3 containers. This is weirdly freeing. In a terrible way. Like cutting off all your hair after a breakup? Exactly like that. They drove to Jess's apartment in silence. Unloaded everything into the corner of the living room. Maya arranged her things, the boxes, the suitcase, the garbage bag, and thought about how she'd gone from 650 square feet to about 16. I'll find something fast, she said. Or don't. Jess was unpacking Thai food, comfort curry again. No rush. But there was a rush. Maya had sent out 47 applications in 2 weeks. She'd gotten 2 interviews, 0 offers, and a growing sense that marketing coordinator with 3 years of experience wasn't as valuable as she'd thought. She ate curry on Jess's couch and tried not to think about Daniel or the apartment or the job. Tried to focus on the fact that she had a friend and a place to stay and leftover curry. This is delicious, she said. I know, Jess replied. That's why I keep ordering it. 2 weeks later, mail arrived at Jess's apartment, forwarded from Maya's old place. Most of it was junk, but there was one thick envelope with an embossed return address. The National Gallery of Art. Jess opened it at dinner. Oh, the charity gala. What charity gala? The one my magazine is covering. Jess pulled out an invitation, heavy cardstock, gold lettering. I get a +1, come with me. Maya looked at the invitation. At the words black tie optional and champagne reception and benefiting arts education. I don't have anything to wear to that. I'll loan you a dress. I can't afford. It's free food, Maya. Free expensive food. And entertainment. Jess grinned. Will people watch rich people? It'll be fun. I'm not charity case material. You're my +1 material. Jess set down the invitation. Come on, one night of pretending we're fancy. What's the worst that could happen? Maya thought about it, about sitting on this couch for another Friday night, sending out resumes, and getting auto-rejections, about feeling like her life had shrunk to the size of a cardboard box. Fine, she said, but if anyone asks, I'm between jobs, not unemployed. Obviously. They shook on it, and Jess went back to her curry, already planning their outfits. Maya looked at the invitation again, the elegant script, the gallery's name, the date. She had no idea she'd just agreed to the strangest night of her life. 3 weeks earlier, the man with a problem. Aaron Way was in the middle of a hostile takeover attempt when his assistant brought him a tabloid. Sir, Rebecca said, setting it on his desk with a look that meant this was serious. He finished reading the acquisition proposal, 32 pages of aggressive legal posturing, and signed his response. The meeting had taken 12 minutes. It would have taken less, but the other company's lawyer had tried to argue about Clause 17, which was adorable. What is it? He asked Rebecca. She flipped open the tabloid. Page 6. Aaron looked. There was a photo of him at a charity event last month, talking to someone from the Arts Council. Nothing unusual, except Veronica Chang was in the background, positioned so it looked like they were together, and the headline, Tech Mogul and Socialite, on again. We were never on, Aaron said. She claims you were. She's on the charity board. We've attended the same events. That's required, not dating. Rebecca pulled out her tablet, showed him 3 more tabloids, all with similar photos, all with Veronica carefully positioned nearby, touching his arm or standing close, all with headlines implying a relationship that didn't exist. This is absurd, Aaron said. This is reputation damage, Rebecca replied. Board members are asking questions. Aaron stared at the photos, at Veronica's calculated smile. He'd known her for 2 years. She was smart, connected, and had decided, for reasons he couldn't fathom, that they should be together. He'd politely declined, repeatedly. Apparently, she'd decided to manufacture a relationship in the press instead. How do I fix this, he asked. You could make a public statement. That makes it a bigger story. You could date someone else. Aaron looked at her. That takes months to establish. Exactly. Rebecca closed the tablet. You have a charity gala Friday. She'll be there, with photographers. Aaron leaned back in his chair and looked out at the DC skyline. Somewhere out there was a solution. He just had to find it. Sunday dinner was at his mother's place in Bethesda, a ritual Aaron maintained despite his schedule, because some battles weren't worth fighting. You look tired, his mother said, serving salmon with surgical precision. I'm fine. You work too much. Otherwise, the company requires you to have a life. She sat down across from him at the dining table that could seat 12, but usually seated 2. Speaking of which, when are you going to settle down? Aaron cut his salmon into precise squares. I'm focused on the business. You're focused on being alone. His mother sipped her wine. Even that socialite would be better than nothing. I'm not interested in Veronica. Then find someone, before everyone assumes you are. Aaron ate his perfectly cooked salmon at the perfectly set table in his mother's perfectly decorated house and felt the familiar weight of expectations settling on his shoulders. I'll handle it, he said. How? Good question. The crisis point came on Tuesday. Aaron's lead investor called him directly, which never happened, to ask about relationship instability affecting focus. "I'm not in a relationship with Veronica Chang," Aaron said for what felt like the 100th time. "The media thinks you are. Your board is concerned. Handle it." The call ended. Aaron pulled up the latest tabloid coverage on his screen. More photos, more implications. Veronica had given an interview. "Aaron's very private about us, which I respect." Rebecca appeared in his doorway. "The charity gala is Friday. She'll be there." "I know. Do you have a plan?" Aaron looked at the tabloids, at Veronica's calculated smile, at the photos arranged to create a narrative that didn't exist. "I'm working on it," he said. Friday afternoon, Aaron reviewed his options with Rebecca. Option 1, public denial, but that makes it a bigger story. Agreed. Option 2, ignore it, but that looks like confirmation. Also agreed. Option 3, date someone else, but that takes time to establish authenticity. Rebecca looked at him over her tablet. "You need a relationship that looks established. Now." "That's impossible." "Yes, sir." Aaron went to the gala with no plan, just a vague hope that he could avoid Veronica long enough for the evening to end. That hope lasted approximately 45 minutes, that night, before the proposal. The National Gallery was everything Maya expected, and nothing she felt comfortable with. High ceilings, expensive art, people wearing jewelry that probably required insurance. "Just smile and eat expensive cheese," Jess said as they walked in. "This is your idea of helping?" "Yes. Also, your shoes are squeaking." Maya's borrowed heels were half a size too big. "I'm aware." They made it to the main hall without incident. Jess immediately spotted someone from her magazine and went to network. Maya found a corner with good access to the catering station and began her strategy. Observe, eat, survive. The people watching was excellent. Table 6 was definitely having an affair. The wife kept checking her phone, while the husband watched a woman at table 9. The couple near the bar were business partners pretending to be married for some reason. The older gentleman by the windows was counting exits, probably planning his escape. "Your analysis is accurate." Maya jumped. A man in an expensive suit had somehow appeared next to her. Tall, serious face, the kind of person who made decisions that affected stock markets. "Excuse me?" "Table 6, the affair." He nodded slightly in that direction. "You're right." "Oh." Maya tried to figure out if this was a conversation she wanted. "Do you know them?" "Business associates." "Ah, so you're also here, under duress." The corner of his mouth twitched, almost a smile. "Something like that." He drifted away before she could respond, and Maya went back to her observations. She'd saved one particularly good canapé, salmon and cream cheese, for when she needed it most. That moment came about 20 minutes later. Maya was mid-bite when the serious-faced man from earlier appeared again. But this time, he leaned in close enough that she could smell expensive cologne, and whispered, "I need you to pretend to be my wife." She stopped chewing, stared at him. He didn't look like he was joking. She swallowed. "I'll need that in writing." And that was how Maya Chen agreed to the most insane plan of her life. But as she stood in the guest room of Aaron Way's Georgetown penthouse later that night, still wearing Jess's dress with the price tag scratching her shoulder, she realized something important. For the first time in 5 weeks, she wasn't thinking about everything she'd lost. She was thinking about what happened next. And despite the absurdity, despite the fake marriage, and the stalker socialite, and the billionaire who counted his throw pillows, Maya smiled. "Okay," she said to the empty room. "Let's see where this goes." The first week, learning the deal, Maya woke up on Saturday morning in a bed the size of her old apartment's kitchen, tangled in Egyptian cotton sheets that probably cost more than her car had. For one blissful second, she forgot where she was. Then she remembered fake marriage, billionaire, Veronica Chang's terrifying smile. "Oh God," she said to the ceiling. Her phone was buzzing somewhere in the folds of Jess's borrowed dress, which she'd draped over a chair. Maya found it and saw 47 texts from Jess, each more panicked than the last. "Where are you? You left with a billionaire." "Maya, I swear to God." "If you're dead, text me," Maya typed back. "I'm at his place. It's complicated." 3 dots appeared immediately. "Jess, explain." Maya looked at the guest room, the expensive furniture, the view of the Potomac, the dress with its price tag still inside. She thought about the contract, about Aaron's face when she'd negotiated terms while eating a canapé. She typed, "He asked me to pretend to be his wife. For 90 days, I signed a contract." Long pause. Then, "What? Oh, there's separate bedrooms. And I'm coming over. Please, don't." "Too late." Maya groaned and fell, back on the bed. Then she heard sounds from the kitchen, the clatter of dishes, the beep of an expensive coffee maker. She found Aaron there, making breakfast with the precision of someone following a recipe in an engineering textbook. Coffee? He asked, not looking up. Please. Maya slid onto a bar stool. Also, I need to call my friend before she calls the police. Of course. He poured coffee into a mug. Plain white, no personality. Cream is in the refrigerator. Maya took the mug, wrapped her hands around it, and felt reality settle in. This was happening. She was here. She'd agreed to this. So, she said, do we have like a plan, or are we just winging it? Rebecca, my assistant, is drafting guidelines. Guidelines. For couple chemistry, Maya stared at him over her coffee. You're kidding. I don't kid about logistics. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. Aaron finally looked at her. It's practical. It's tragic. But Maya was smiling despite herself. Okay, fine. We'll follow your guidelines. But first, I need to go get my stuff from Jess's place. And explain this before she breaks down your door. She's coming here? Probably already in an Uber. Aaron absorbed this. I'll tell security to expect her. Of course he had security. Jess arrived an hour later, steamrolling past the doorman with the confidence of someone who'd covered 20 charity galas and wasn't intimidated by money. Maya met her in the lobby. Hi. Don't hi me. Jess grabbed her shoulders. What is happening? Start talking. They went back to Jess's apartment to get Maya's things. The suitcase, the 2 boxes, the garbage bag of winter clothes. Maya explained while Jess loaded her car, occasionally stopping to stare at Maya like she'd grown a second head. He asked you to fake marry him. At a gala. Yes. And you said yes. Also yes. Why? Maya thought about the eviction notice. The job applications. Daniel's $10 left on the table like an insult. Because I had nothing to lose, she said. And everything to gain. Like, literally, I have housing now. Is this safe? Safer than homelessness. That's not reassuring. It's honest. Jess was quiet for a moment, then pulled Maya into a hug. If he's weird to you, call me immediately. He's already weird, but not dangerous weird. More like color codes his socks weird. That's very specific. I saw his closet. It's disturbing. They finished loading the car and drove back to Georgetown. Maya's entire life, 1 suitcase, 2 boxes, a garbage bag, looked even smaller against the backdrop of the building's glass and steel entrance. Aaron was waiting in the penthouse. He looked at Maya's belongings without comment, but something flickered in his eyes. Surprise, concern, she couldn't tell. That's everything? He asked. This is everything I own. Maya kept her voice level. Is that a problem? No, He stopped, started again. The closet in your room has plenty of space. How generous. Jess inserted herself into the moment with the diplomatic skills of someone who'd photographed uncomfortable situations professionally. Hi, I'm Jessica Chen, Maya's emergency contact and personal investigator. Aaron shook her hand. Aaron Way. I know who you are. Net worth approximately $2.3 billion, mostly from commercial real estate AI. Divorced parents, no siblings, graduated MIT at 20. Jess smiled sweetly. I'm a photographer. I research subjects. Thorough. Always. Jess turned to Maya. Can we talk privately? They went to the guest room. Jess closed the door. Okay, he seems... no, weird. I was going to say harmless, but socially unusual. Jess sat on the bed. Are you sure about this? Maya looked around the room. The space, the view, the bed she'd slept in. No, but I'm doing it anyway. That's very you. Thanks. Jess pulled her into another hug. Call me every day, and if anything feels wrong, you leave immediately. I will. I'm serious, Maya. I know. Maya hugged back. I love you too. After Jess left, Maya found Aaron in the living room, staring at his tablet with the expression of someone solving a differential equation. Your friend is protective, he said. Your observation skills are excellent. She threatened me in the elevator. What did she say? That if you disappeared, she'd make sure I became very publicly unmarried. Maya grinned. That's very her. Aaron set down the tablet. I should probably explain how this will work. Rebecca's guidelines? Among other things, he pulled up a document on the tablet. Public appearances, twice a week minimum. Social media presence, though we can keep that limited. Board events, charity functions, business dinners. Sounds exhausting. It is. Aaron paused. But we also need to look comfortable together. Comfortable. As if we've been married for a while. Not newlyweds. Maya thought about this. So we need to act like we've seen each other's worst habits and stuck around anyway? Essentially. That's weirdly romantic. Aaron looked genuinely confused. How? Never mind. Maya stood up. Okay, let's practice. Practice? Yeah, pretend we're at one of your business dinners. Introduce me. Aaron stood, suddenly looking uncomfortable. This is Maya Chen, my wife. Boring. Try again. With feeling. I don't... Aaron. Maya walked closer. Look at me like you actually like me. He stared at her. Intensely. Like he was analyzing her molecular structure. Not like you're planning my murder, Maya said. Like you like me. He softened his expression slightly. Still intense, but less serial killerish. Maya started laughing. What? He looked genuinely confused. You're terrible at this. I'm aware. But there was the faintest hint of a smile. This is why I need guidelines. Guidelines won't help if you can't fake basic human emotion. Well, I have emotions. Do you, though? Yes. Aaron crossed his arms. I'm experiencing frustration right now. That's a start, Maya grinned. Okay, here's your first lesson. When someone asks how we met, we tell the same story. Which story? We met at a coffee shop. You spilled coffee on me. I was annoyed. You apologized by buying me a replacement coffee and a muffin. We started talking. 6 months later, you proposed. Aaron absorbed this. That's very specific. That's the point. Details make it believable. What kind of muffin? Does it matter? Consistency matters. Maya sighed. Blueberry. You bought me a blueberry muffin. Noted. They spent the next hour crafting their fake history, where they went on their first date, a bookstore, because Maya liked bookstores and Aaron needed to seem less robotic. When they got engaged, 8 months ago, private, no public announcement. Why they kept it secret, Aaron values privacy, Maya's not on social media much. By the end, Maya's head hurt and Aaron looked like he'd just completed a particularly challenging merger negotiation. I think we're ready, he said. We're definitely not ready. Maya stood up, stretching. But we'll figure it out. You're very optimistic. You're very pessimistic. We balance each other. She headed toward her room, then stopped. Hey, Aaron? Yes? What's your favorite food? He blinked. Why? Because married people know that about each other. Oh. He thought about it. Salmon. Prepared medium rare, with asparagus and lemon. Of course it is, Maya smiled. Mine's tacos. Cheap ones from food trucks, extra hot sauce. That's the opposite of salmon. Yep, we're very balanced. She left him processing that, and went to unpack her life from 3 containers into a closet the size of her old bedroom. Their first public appearance was Tuesday, a business dinner at the Watergate with 3 other couples. Aaron briefed Maya beforehand, like she was about to infiltrate enemy territory. Richard and Susan Thornton, hedge fund managers. Married 15 years. They'll ask about our wedding, which we didn't have. We got married at a courthouse. Quick. Private. Very romantic. Practical. Maya was wearing another borrowed dress, this one from Rebecca, who'd appeared that morning with 3 options and the expression of someone deeply skeptical of this entire operation. You look nice, Aaron said when she emerged. Thank you. You look like you're about to present quarterly earnings. I'm always about to present quarterly earnings. The dinner was excruciating and surprisingly fun in equal measure. The Thorntons immediately asked how they met, and Maya launched into the coffee shop story with enough detail that Aaron looked impressed. Susan asked about the wedding, and Aaron smoothly explained their courthouse ceremony without missing a beat. How romantic, Susan said, though her tone implied she thought courthouse weddings were one step above Vegas. We wanted something private, Maya said. Just us and the paperwork. Richard laughed. That's very Aaron. It was very me too, Maya added. I'm not big on crowds. The conversation shifted to business, real estate trends, market forecasts, things Maya knew nothing about. She listened, asked occasional questions, and noticed that Aaron relaxed slightly when talking about work. This was his element. During dessert, Susan turned to Maya. So what do you do? I'm between jobs right now, Maya said, using the phrase she'd practiced. I was in marketing, but I'm considering a career shift. To what? Good question. Maya improvised. Maybe consulting, or maybe I'll just enjoy being a billionaire's wife for a while. As Aaron nearly choked on his wine. Richard laughed. She's got you figured out, Way. In the car afterward, Aaron was quiet. Maya watched Georgetown slide past, all historic buildings and expensive restaurants. You're good at this, Aaron said finally. At what? Talking, improvising, making people comfortable, It's just conversation. I don't do conversation. I report information. Maya looked at him, this brilliant, socially awkward billionaire who'd asked a stranger to fake marry him rather than just tell the truth. You could learn. I'm not good at learning things that don't have clear rules. Conversation doesn't have rules. Exactly. Aaron pulled up to the building. That's the problem. They rode the elevator in silence. In the penthouse, Aaron went to his study and Maya went to her room. But she found herself sitting by the window, looking out at the city, thinking about the dinner, about Susan's assumption that Maya would just enjoy being a billionaire's wife, about Aaron's face when she'd said it, about how none of this was real, but it was starting to feel like something. We need groceries, Maya announced on Wednesday morning. Aaron looked up from his laptop. I have groceries delivered. We need to go to the grocery store, like humans. That's inefficient. That's marriage. Maya grabbed her jacket. Come on, we'll be back in an hour. Aaron had never been to a grocery store. This became immediately apparent when they walked into the Whole Foods in Foggy Bottom, and he stopped in the entrance, looking around like he'd entered a foreign country. What's wrong? Maya asked. It's very bright. It's a grocery store. I know, theoretically. Maya grabbed a cart and started navigating the aisles. Aaron followed, picking up items and reading their nutrition labels like they were legal contracts. This cereal has 47 grams of sugar per serving. Maya put 3 boxes in the cart. That's excessive. That's breakfast. The recommended daily sugar intake for adults is Aaron. Maya stopped the cart. We're not optimizing my cereal. We're buying food like normal people. I don't think normal people buy this much sugar. Then it's good we're establishing our quirks as a couple. She added a bag of chips to the cart. You're the health nut. I'm the junk food enthusiast. Very realistic. They argued about yogurt, organic versus regular, bread, whole grain versus white, and whether hummus counted as a vegetable. Maya said yes. Aaron disagreed on principle. Other shoppers watched them with the fond expression of people observing a married couple in their natural habitat. At checkout, the cashier smiled at them. You two are cute. Maya and Aaron looked at each other. Thank you, Maya said. In the car, Aaron loaded groceries with the precision of someone packing a spacecraft. That was exhausting, he said. That was an hour. Exactly. But Maya noticed he was smiling, just slightly, but there. And when they got home and unpacked everything, Aaron didn't complain about the 3 boxes of sugary cereal taking up space in his organized pantry. Progress. That night, Maya woke up at 2 a.m. and couldn't fall back asleep. She went to the kitchen for tea and found Aaron there, working on his laptop in the dark. You don't sleep? She asked. Not much. That's sad. It's efficient. Maya made 2 cups of tea, one for her, one for him. Aaron looked at the mug she set down like he wasn't sure what to do with it. You made me tea, he said. You were working in the dark like a vampire. You need tea. I don't usually drink tea. Share space. Maya sat down across from him. Me neither. Well, I did. When I lived with Daniel. But we were both always on our phones or laptops. We never just sat. What happened with him? Aaron asked. If you don't mind my asking. He left when I lost my job. Said he needed stability. Maya sipped her tea. Which is code for I can't date someone poor. That's terrible. That's honest, Maya shrugged. Better to know than waste more time. Aaron was quiet for a moment. I've never been in a relationship longer than 6 months. Why? Because He gestured vaguely at himself. This. You're going to have to be more specific. Difficult. Focused on work. I organize my socks by color. That last one is definitely weird, Maya agreed. But the rest is just you. Most people don't want just me. Maya looked at him across the kitchen table. This brilliant, lonely billionaire who couldn't figure out how to be with people. Maybe you've been meeting the wrong people. Maybe. They sat in comfortable silence, drinking tea, not talking. Outside, DC slept. Inside, 2 fake married strangers had their first real conversation. This is nice, Maya said eventually. Weird, but nice. Which part? All of it, sitting here. Not talking about schedules or appearances or whatever, just being. Aaron considered this. I don't usually do just being. I know, you should try it more. He looked at his laptop, then closed it. Okay. They finished their tea in silence. Then Aaron said quietly, what happens after 90 days? Maya had been wondering the same thing. We renegotiate. Or end it, whatever makes sense. Very romantic. Maya laughed. You're learning sarcasm. I'm proud. But neither of them moved to leave the kitchen. They just sat there, in the quiet dark, being. It wasn't until much later, lying in bed, watching the city lights, that Maya realized she hadn't thought about job applications or Daniel or anything. She'd lost all day. She'd just lived. By week 3, they'd developed routines. Maya made coffee every morning, badly, burnt and bitter, and Aaron drank it without complaint. She rearranged his minimalist apartment, adding color and life, throw pillows that didn't match, plants that needed talking to, photos in frames instead of stored on hard drives. Aaron pretended to be annoyed by the changes, but started using her organizational system. When Maya reorganized his alphabetically arranged spices into things I actually use and things that came with the apartment, he studied the new arrangement for a long time, then left it that way. They argued about the dishwasher. Forks go up, Maya said, loading the silverware basket. Forks go down, water pressure dynamics. It's a dishwasher, not a rocket ship. Physics applies to both. The housekeeper, Mrs. Kim, watched them from the kitchen doorway with barely concealed amusement. Later, Maya heard her telling Rebecca, "They're like real couple." Rebecca's response, "That's the problem." Week 4 brought the first real threat. Rebecca appeared at breakfast with her tablet and the expression of someone delivering bad news. Veronica hired an investigator. Aaron set down his coffee. For what? Background on Maya. Maya, who'd been eating cereal directly from the box, paused mid-chew. What will they find? Everything, Rebecca said. Job loss, eviction, broken engagement. It's all public record. Great. Maya put down the cereal. So I'm about to be tabloid fodder. We can bury the story, Aaron said immediately. Pay them off. No. Maya, no. She stood up. That makes me look guilty, like I'm hiding something. You're not hiding anything, Aaron said. You're protecting yourself. From what? The truth? Maya grabbed her jacket. I'm going for a walk. And she left before either of them could respond. Walked along the Potomac until her anger cooled into something more manageable. When she came back, Aaron was in his study, and Rebecca had left a note. Coffee at 3 if you want to talk. Maya went at 3. Rebecca's office was in the building's business center, smaller than Aaron's home office, but somehow more intimidating. She gestured for Maya to sit. He's trying to protect you, Rebecca said, by throwing money at it. That's his solution to everything. Rebecca poured 2 cups of coffee. But you're right, paying off tabloids looks worse than the truth. So what do I do? That depends. Do you want to stay past 90 days? Maya stared at her. What? Because if this is just a job, let him handle it his way. But if you're actually... Rebecca paused, choosing words carefully. Invested. Then you need to handle it yours. Maya thought about morning coffee and grocery store arguments and late-night tea in the kitchen. I don't know what this is. Figure it out fast, because Veronica will. Weeks 5 through 7 were a blur of public appearances. They went to gallery openings, charity auctions, business dinners. Each time, their story got a little smoother, their chemistry a little more natural. At one event, a reporter asked how they met. Aaron answered before Maya could. She spilled coffee on me, actually. I was reading proposals at a cafe, and she bumped my table. Ruined an entire contract. Maya stared at him. That wasn't their story. I apologized, she added quickly. Extensively. Oh, you offered to pay for dry cleaning, which you refused. Because you'd already bought me a replacement coffee and a muffin. Aaron was smiling slightly, a real smile. Blueberry. The reporter ate it up. Later in the car, Maya turned to him. You changed the story. Yours felt rehearsed. It was rehearsed. That's the point. Aaron was quiet for a moment. I thought mine sounded more natural. And it did, Maya admitted. But now we need to remember your version instead of mine. I'll send you the details. You're going to write down our fake history? Consistency matters. Despite everything, the fake marriage, the tabloids, the looming threat of exposure, Maya laughed. You're so weird. I know. Week 7, late evening. Maya was reading on the couch when Aaron emerged from his study. Want tea? He asked. Sure. And they'd started doing this, making tea for no reason, sitting in the same room without talking. Maya read. Aaron worked. Occasionally one of them would say something. This book is terrible. Then stop reading it. Can't. Need to know if they survive. But mostly they just existed together. It was the most comfortable Maya had felt in months. Can I ask you something? Aaron said, not looking up from his laptop. Sure. Why did you rearrange my apartment? Maya looked around at the changes she'd made. The colorful pillows, the plants, the photos. Because it looked like a hotel. Hotels aren't for living. I liked it organized. You like it lived in better. Aaron finally looked at her. How do you know? Because you haven't changed anything back. He absorbed this, returned to his laptop. But Maya saw the slight smile. Week 8, 2 a.m. Maya found Aaron in the kitchen again, looking at something on his tablet with unusual intensity. "What's wrong?" she asked. He showed her a draft article from a tabloid. Billionaire's Secret Wife. Who is Maya Chen? It wasn't out yet, just a preview, courtesy of Rebecca's media connections. But Maya could see the direction. Her job loss, the eviction, Daniel leaving, framed as gold digger seeks wealthy savior. "This comes out Monday," Aaron said. It was Saturday. Maya read through it twice, feeling something cold settle in her stomach. "This makes me look desperate." "Oh, we can stop it." "How?" "Money, lawyers, whatever it takes." Maya looked at him, this man who solved everything with resources and strategy, who couldn't understand that some things couldn't be fixed by throwing money at them. "What if I didn't want you to stop it?" she asked. Aaron's face did something complicated. "What? What if I told the truth first, on my own terms?" He stopped. "That's actually not terrible. High praise." "I mean it." Aaron set down the tablet. "But you'd have to give an interview, be public. That's not easy." "Neither is hiding." Maya made tea with shaking hands. "I'll do it tomorrow." And she called the journalist directly, bypassed Rebecca, bypassed Aaron's entire PR team, arranged an exclusive interview for Sunday afternoon. When Aaron found out, he looked like he wanted to argue. Instead, he asked, "Do you want me there?" "No, this is mine." He nodded. Didn't fight. Just said, "Okay." But the interview happened in a cafe in Georgetown, neutral ground, casual setting. The journalist was younger than Maya expected, with a recording device and genuine curiosity. "So," she began, "you and Aaron Way." "Yes." "The tabloids are calling this a fairy tale, but your story is more complicated." Maya took a breath. "It is. I lost my job in September, then my apartment, then my fiancé. I had nothing when I met Aaron. And he offered you, what, security?" "Partnership." Maya looked directly at the recorder. "This started as an arrangement. He needed someone to stop rumors about his ex. I needed stability. We were honest about that from the beginning." "But something changed?" Maya thought about grocery store arguments and burnt coffee and late-night tea. "Yeah, something changed. The article published Tuesday. The truth about the billionaire's wife." Public response was immediate and surprisingly positive. Comments flooded in. "They're so honest. And this is real love." Finally, people who don't pretend. Veronica's smear campaign backfired spectacularly. Her investigator had nothing the public didn't already know. The rival businessman who'd funded the hit piece lost credibility. Maya should have felt victorious. Instead, she felt Aaron pulling away. He didn't say anything directly, just started working later, eating earlier, being polite but distant. They still had dinner together. Routine was routine, but conversation died. Tuesday evening, they sat at the table in silence. Mrs. Kim had made salmon, Aaron's favorite, and tacos, Maya's favorite, somehow managing to serve both. "Can you pass the salt?" Maya asked. Aaron passed it without speaking. More silence. Sounds of utensils on plates. "This is weird," Maya said. "Very. We're fighting, but still eating together. The contract doesn't specify meal arrangements." Aaron cut his salmon with precision. "Very romantic." Almost a smile, but not quite. Maya set down her fork. "Are you mad at me?" "No. You're something." Aaron was quiet for a long moment. Then, "I'm processing." "That's very you." Maya picked up her taco. "But you've been processing for 3 days." "It takes time." To what? Decide if I did the right thing?" "To decide if I'm angry you didn't let me help." There it was. Maya set down the taco. "You wanted to fix it your way." "Yes." "And I fixed it mine." Yes. And that bothers you." "I'm not sure." Aaron finally looked at her. "I think it bothers me that you didn't trust me to handle it." "I did trust you. I just didn't need you to." Maya pushed back from the table. "There's a difference." She went to her room. Aaron stayed at the table. Neither knew how to fix it. The next morning, she woke to find him reading responses to her interview. He looked up when she entered the kitchen. "They like you," he said. "They like us. The honesty thing. When you were brave." Maya poured coffee. "I was protecting myself. Like you taught me." That landed harder than she'd intended. Aaron's face did something complicated. "I didn't mean," she started. "No, you're right." He closed the tablet. "I'm sorry I shut down. I'm sorry I didn't talk to you first." They stood in the kitchen, both holding coffee, both unsure what happened next. "We're not good at this," Maya said. "At what?" "Being partners. Real ones." Aaron absorbed this. I don't know how to be a partner. Me neither. Maya set down her coffee. But maybe we could learn? Maybe. But maybe turned into more silence, more polite distance, more eating dinner together without really talking. By day 75, Maya couldn't take it anymore. She packed an overnight bag. Aaron came home from work and found her in the bedroom. Where are you going? Jess's place, for a few days. The 90 days aren't up. I know. Maya zipped the bag. I'm not quitting. I'm leaving. That's the same thing. No. Quitting means I failed. Leaving means I need space from you shutting me out. Aaron's face went carefully blank. I was giving you space after you made unilateral decisions. I was protecting myself, like you taught me. Maya picked up the bag. I'll be back before day 90. Contract honored. She walked past him. He didn't try to stop her. At the door, she paused. Aaron. Yes? This isn't over, but I can't be here right now. She left. Days 76 to 85. No one is a hero here. Aaron spent 4 days alone in the penthouse, noticing things. Her throw pillows were everywhere. Her plants needed watering. The coffee she'd bought, terrible, cheap, perfect, sat in the pantry. He made dinner out of habit, setting 2 places. Realized halfway through cooking, put half away. Rebecca came by with contracts on day 3. Is she coming back? She asked. She said a few days. Do you want her to? Aaron looked at the empty penthouse. The contract isn't finished. Sir. Rebecca set down the contracts. With respect, no one cares about the contract. After she left, Aaron stood in the kitchen, surrounded by Maya's changes to his life, and realized he didn't know how to undo any of them. He didn't want to. Maya spent 4 days on Jess's couch, not crying, but not exactly okay either. Do you love him? Jess asked on day 2. I don't know. Maybe. Probably. So go back. I won't go back to be convenient, or pitied, or fixed. Maya stared at the ceiling. I want to be chosen. Not because I solve a problem, just chosen. Did you tell him that? He should know. Everyone needs to be told, Maya. Day 80, Maya opened Aaron's fridge to get something. Found his weird organizational system. Labels on everything, expiration dates tracked. Found her weird snack combinations still there. Pickles and peanut butter, hot sauce and cream cheese. He'd kept them. Aaron, alone in the penthouse, tried to watch TV, couldn't find the remote. Maya always had it. Gave up. Reorganized his already organized closet instead. Both of them looked at their contracts that evening. 10 days left. Neither called. Day 81. Maya texted, coming back tomorrow, if that's okay. Aaron responded immediately, of course, and then added, I'd like to talk. Okay. She returned the next afternoon. They stood in the doorway, awkward. Hi, she said. Hi. Long pause. I don't know how to do this, Aaron said finally. Do what? Feel things without fixing them. Maya set down her bag, patted the couch beside her. Start by sitting. They talked for 2 hours. Really talked, not about schedules or appearance, but about why they'd both shut down, why they'd both been hurt, why neither of them knew how to be vulnerable without armor. I was angry you didn't let me protect you, Aaron admitted. I don't need protecting. I need partnership. I don't know how to be a partner. It's like negotiating, Maya said. But with feelings. That's terrifying. Welcome to being human. Aaron was quiet for a moment. The article worked. You were right. I was lucky. You could have been right too. No, you were brave. He looked at her. I'm sorry I shut down. I'm sorry I left instead of fighting. They sat in silence, comfortable this time. Then Aaron said, I have a confession. Okay? I kept your terrible coffee and your weird food combinations. I couldn't throw them away. Maya felt something warm expand in her chest. That's the most romantic thing you've ever said. Is it? For you? Yes. Day 83. They were in the kitchen together, arguing about dishwasher loading again. Forks up. Forks down. It doesn't matter. Engineering principles, but Maya put a fork in sideways. Aaron stared at it in horror. From the hallway, Mrs. Kim whispered to Rebecca, They're back. Rebecca, I noticed. Mrs. Kim, good. The house was sad. The house? Him. I meant him. Mrs. Kim smiled, but also the house. They watched Maya and Aaron argue about mug placement next. Mugs have designated spaces. I'll put mugs wherever I want. That's chaos. That's life, Mrs. Kim. I miss this. Rebecca. They're going to drive each other crazy. Mrs. Kim. That's marriage. And Rebecca. They're not actually. Mrs. Kim. Please. They're very married. Days 86 to 90 and beyond. What still makes sense? Day 87. Maya made breakfast. Burnt toast, as usual. Aaron scraped off the burnt part and ate it. You can say it's bad, she said. It's burnt, not bad. What's the difference? One is fixable. You just need time. Maya smiled. He was learning. Day 90 arrived without ceremony. Neither mentioned it until evening, when Aaron brought out the contract. This expires today. I know. We should discuss next steps. Should we? Aaron set down the paper. I don't want you to leave. Because the arrangement worked? Because I've gotten used to burnt toast. Maya stared at him. That's the worst romantic speech ever. I know, but it's true. Try again. I don't want to wake up in a perfect empty apartment anymore. Aaron looked directly at her. Is that better? Much. Maya moved closer. For what it's worth, I don't want to leave either. Really? Really. Even though you're weird about socks and terrible at romance and organize groceries like a robot, those are significant flaws. They're growing on me. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Aaron said, I should tell you something. Okay? I'm still learning this, being with someone. Not shutting down when things are hard. All of it. Me too, Maya admitted. I'm still rebuilding. I don't have my own apartment or savings or clear career plans. This won't be easy. Nothing real is. Now look at you, using emotional wisdom. I have good motivation, Aaron almost smiled. You, here, rearranging my life and burning my breakfast. My coffee's not that bad. It's worse than the toast. Poor day. But Maya was grinning. Accurate, but rude. Day 95. Maya had a job interview, marketing director position at a mid-sized firm. Aaron insisted on helping her practice. Tell me about yourself. I married a billionaire for 90 days and fell in love. Don't say that in the interview. Obviously, they practiced her real answers. Aaron was too harsh. That answer was weak, then too formal. Your qualifications are adequate. Finally, Maya made him say something actually encouraging. You're brilliant at reading people. They'd be lucky to have you. See? Was that so hard? Yes. She kissed his cheek. You'll get better at it. She got the job. Months passed. They stopped counting days. Maya started work, contributed to expenses. Aaron tried to argue, she insisted. Brought actual life into the penthouse. She got plants that needed talking to. He got used to organized chaos. Friend visits became common. Jess and Rebecca formed an unlikely friendship based on mutual skepticism of this whole situation. Veronica faded into irrelevance. The rival businessman moved to California. They learned each other's rhythms, Maya's bad mornings, Aaron's work spirals, when to talk, when to just sit together in silence. 1 year and 90 days after the gala, they got married for real. The wedding was small, just friends and family in a vineyard outside the city. Jess was maid of honor. Rebecca officiated with barely concealed amusement. Aaron's vows were prepared, earnest, slightly awkward. He mentioned burnt toast twice. Maya's vows were improvised, funny, real. She thanked him for separate bedrooms, which we never used, and color-coded socks, which I still don't. Understand, everyone laughed. Afterward, Rebecca toasted. To the weirdest fake marriage that became the realest real one. And Jess added, and to Maya for negotiating a contract while eating a canapé. Aaron. And to Maya for teaching me that chaos isn't always bad. Maya. And to Aaron for drinking my terrible coffee. That night, back home, Maya tried to bake the leftover wedding cake into something edible. The smoke alarm went off. Should I be concerned? Aaron asked from the doorway. It's fine. It's smoking. It's character. Maya waved a towel at the alarm. Some things don't need to be perfect. Aaron came over, helped her salvage what they could. They ate burnt cake on the couch, and it was terrible and perfect. I love you, Maya said. I love you too, Aaron replied, even though you burn everything. Especially because I burn everything. And that doesn't make sense. Welcome to marriage. Outside, DC settled into night. Inside, two people who'd started as strangers and became partners sat together, eating burnt cake, being imperfectly happy, and that was enough. A small thought to sit with, there's something strange about how we find each other, isn't there? Not the fairy tale version, the real version, where timing is terrible and circumstances are messy and nobody's at their best. Maya Chen agreed to fake marry a billionaire because she had nowhere else to go. Aaron Wei asked a stranger to pretend to be his wife because he couldn't figure out how to tell the truth. Neither of them was looking for love. They were looking for solutions. But somewhere between burnt toast and grocery store arguments, between late-night tea and learning to just sit together, they found something neither of them planned for: partnership, the real kind, where you don't fix each other, you just show up, where perfect is exhausting and imperfect is enough. Maybe that's what we all need to hear sometimes, that it's okay to not have everything figured out, that starting from desperation doesn't make the ending less real, that the best relationships aren't the ones that look good from the outside. They're the ones that feel good from the inside, even when everything's a little burnt around the edges. Aaron still organizes his socks by color. Maya still makes terrible coffee. They still argue about the dishwasher. And they're still learning how to be partners. Really learning, because that's work that never quite finishes. But they show up for each other. They try. They stay. And in a world that asks for perfection, maybe that's the most romantic thing of all, choosing someone. Despite the mess, because of the mess, in the middle of the mess. Just choosing, every day. This story is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to real people or events is purely coincidental.